the 10 Commandments that the teacher passed out. He sadly thought that he would not be able to get baptized. At home, Mother encouraged him. God's willing, you will get baptized, she said. During the week, his older sister read the 10 Commandments out loud to Ricardo. She read them again and again so the boy would memorize them. On Friday, everyone who wanted to be baptized gathered at the church. Who will be the first to recite the 10 Commandments? A church elder asked. No one volunteered, so Ricardo raised his hand. He could not remember in the correct order, but he recited all 10 perfectly. The elder was amazed and shook his hand. Turning to the others, he asked, who will recite it like Ricardo? The next day on Sabbath, everyone, including Ricardo, was baptized. Shortly afterwards, Ricardo was invited to share the weekly mission story in the Sabbath school. So when some church members heard, they asked the school leader to change his mind. Ricardo can't tell the mission story because he can't read, they said. The Sabbath school leader gently touched Ricardo on the shoulder. Do you hear what they are saying? He asked. Ricardo nodded. Show everyone what you are able to do, he said. Prepare to tell the story next Sabbath. Ricardo's sister read the mission story to him from the missions quarterly, and he easily memorized it. On Sabbath, Ricardo told the story from beginning to end. When he finished, loud and astonished amens filled the church. Today, Ricardo is a 25-year-old university student and preparing to become a pastor. He has led a Pathfinder club for the past 2 years and preaches regularly in churches around Angola. Dozens of people have been baptized after his sermons. Ricardo is no longer sad. Although he cannot see with his eyes, he knows that God has given him an excellent memory. He also says doctors were wrong when they said he would never be able to see again. For Revelation 1 and verse 7 says, behold, he is coming with the clouds and every eye will see him. This is a promise that when Jesus returns, every eye will see him, including Ricardo. One day I will see the face of my Jesus, he says. Today's 13th Sabbath offering will help open an Adventist school in Ricardo's hometown of Luanda, Angola. Today, for giving generously to the Southern Africa Indian Division. This quarter, our mission focus is the people of the Southern African Indian. Let's get
Madagascar lies off the eastern coast of Africa. More than half of the people living there practice a traditional religion that focuses on honoring the dead. Many have never heard God's message of love and salvation through Jesus.
In the capital city, poverty stalks many streets. Children often must fend for themselves, while a parent or guardian struggles to provide the bare necessities. They can't afford to go to school and have little hope for a better life. Today's offering will help establish an orphanage to give some of the poorest children a safe place to live, an education, and a hope for the future in Jesus.
The Adventist Secondary School in northwestern Madagascar is crowded beyond capacity. Many students come from non-Christian homes, and every year some 80 students and family members are baptized as a result of the school's outreach. Part of today's offering will help build a new classroom block to accommodate more students and reach them for Christ.
Zurcher Adventist University in the capital city, Madagascar, began as a seminary and is adding other courses of study to meet the growing needs of Adventist young people. The university must build a classroom multi-purpose building to remain accredited. Part of today's offering will help the university continue to meet the need for quality Adventist education.
The Himba believes that their ancestors guide their day-to-day lives. Few Himba read or write. They pass on their culture and history orally. For years, dedicated missionaries serving the global mission and then with Adventist frontier missions have prayed and searched for the key that would unlock the hearts of the Himba. Today, a team of missionaries and local workers are writing Bible stories that communicate to the Himba in ways they understand and are responding to. Last year, the first Himba Bible stories were distributed to tribal leaders on solar-powered MP3 players, a simple device that operates without the need for batteries. Family and village members can hear God's stories in their own language in a way they can relate to, and they are listening. Part of this quarter's 13th Sabbath offering will help provide MP3 players for more than 200 villages and settlements of Himba in northern Namibia. Through these MP3 players, God is speaking to the hearts of Himba in their own language. South Africa is a model country with great challenges, while the southern African Indian Ocean has an average of 1 Adventist for every 60 people. South Africa has 1 Adventist for every 500 people. Two projects will help specific groups. Riverside Adventist School in Cape Town, South Africa, has served the community for about 80 years. Today, most of the students come from the poorer settlements surrounding the city. Most come speaking little or no English, but their parents want them to have the advantage of an English-based education. Many of the families served by this school are not Adventists. The potential for mission outreach is high, and every year students and parents are baptized as a result of this school. The school needs to replace a 60-year-old temporary building that no longer meets safety codes. But the parents cannot afford to rebuild. Part of today's offering will help provide a safer, healthier environment for the children to learn.
In the northeastern South Africa lies the town of Igwavuma. Several years ago, a church was planted here. It has grown to 80 members plus 35 children. The congregation meets in a one-room community center, but its children must worship on the tree near the road. The congregation has a land on which to build a simple church, but they can't afford to buy the bricks for their church. They want to give their church a room in which to worship their children a room in which to worship and learn to lead out in programs. Part of our offering will help build the church for this congregation. The children around the world are giving their 13th Sabbath offering to help provide the worship center for the children. Together we can help this congregation grow and reach out to their community for Christ. Let's give liberally today so that the people of Madagascar, Namibia, and South Africa can reach many. Thank you, kind vision and trade for a topic. God bless you. Let's all say amen. Dalil and Ajani will now come forward to collect the 13th Sabbath offering while the choristers sing Hear the Money's Dropping.
Give and it will come back to you. Good measure, pressed down, shaking together and running over. Give, it will come back to you. When you give to the Lord. Give, it will come back to you. Good measure, pressed down, shaking together and running over. Give, it will come back to you. When you give to the Lord. Oh, give, it will come back to you. Good measure, pressed down, shaking together and running over. Give, it will come back to you. When you give to the Lord.
Heavenly Father, and thank you for making us see another Sabbath. And as the money has been put in, help it to enrich others and help it to bless others. In your name I pray, amen.
I hope you have studied to show yourself approved of God. Because it's lesson study time with Miss Baham and Prayerly from the primary division.
We're going to do the primary lesson. My name is Miss Baham. And the topic of the lesson is? All right. We'll now listen to our memory verse. So where was Jesus when he talked to his disciples? Okay. And what was the important lesson that he wanted to teach his disciples? No, repeat. What was the important thing that Jesus wanted to tell his disciples? Right. So what two groups did he divide? Okay. And the goats was and the sheep was right. So what did he tell the people what did he tell the people on the right? Okay. So what did he tell the people on the left? So then what was the response of the people on the right? What was the response after that? Okay. So the response was, where did we wait? Where did we see you hungry and give you something to eat? Where did we see you and give you something to drink? Okay. And the people on the left, how did they feel? How did they feel? Left. Okay. And the people on the right was? Okay. So what lesson did you get out of the lesson? What lesson did you get out of that lesson? Right. So lesson on a short. Well, we said everything, but to summarize, the disciples, Jesus was talking to his disciples and he wanted them to get something out of what he was saying, but it looked like they did not understand. He wanted them to love one another, and he wanted them to love one another because it looks like the disciples, they didn't really have that love that he wanted them to have, because he wanted them to love one another as he have loved them. But somehow they didn't understand what he was saying when he told them the people would be separated in two sections, the goats on the left hand and the sheep on the right. So at the end, he just wanted us to know, and even in that lesson too, he wants all of us to know that we have to love one another as he have loved us.
Everything I am.
title, which will be done in this order. Kindergarten, Nakia and Julia, primary, Trey and Denicia, juniors, Dijon, Elitin, Berger, Basana, Jai, Jalil, Jahim, and Faith.
Mark 9:35. Psalm 118, verse 6, the Lord. Luke 8 and verse 39, tell. John 13 and verse 15, Jesus said, you should do
quarters lesson. All right. And I know that there are many stories that we would have learned, relearned. We would have gone over a number of concepts that we would have found in which book? Which book? Maybe because we have a lot of visitors and they probably don't know what we're studying. But we're looking at the book of Genesis. We looked at the book of Genesis for this quarter. Genesis 1 verse 1, in the beginning, what happened? God did what? The heavens and the earth. In how many days? I hear 6, I hear 7. How many days? In 6 days. And then he did what on the 7th day? He rested from all of his work. On the first day, what did God create? Let there be light, and there was light. Day 2, the firmament, right? He created the firmament. He separated the heavens from the waters below. Day 3, dry land to come up, right? And also the fruit trees and also grass, anything that we see that is green, right? There is a special link between day 4 and day 1, days 5 and day 2, days 3 and 6, right? So if on day 1 he created light, what do you think he created on day 4? It is linked to day 1. Sun, the moon, and the stars. On day 2, he created the heavens, and he separated the heavens from the waters. On day 5, he created what? The birds of the air and the fish of the sea. On day 3, he called forth dry land from the from the sea, and he created fruit trees and dry ground and everything that we find that is green. So on day 6, he created land animals and human beings. And then, as we said before, he rested on the 7th day. So God created this awesome, beautiful world for us to enjoy, right? Are we enjoying life here on earth? Kind of, right? It is not intended as, it's not as how God intended, right? Because as we see in Genesis chapter 3, something happened. What happened? Sin entered. Adam and Eve were told what? Not to eat from the tree. Which tree? The tree of the knowledge of good and evil. But yet still they ate from the tree, and then they became what? Sinners. But then there's something beautiful about this concept that we have called Christianity and the gospel, where God didn't leave them to die. he made a promise to Adam and Eve that there would be a what? A Redeemer who was coming, a Messiah who was coming that would die in their stead, and in so doing, provide eternal life to those who believe. And to that we say what?